let's get to this next fight. A lot of hype behind this next dude here at bantamweight, Goyito, Erik Perez. 13 wins, 4 losses. This guy also on an 8-fight win streak. He's 3-0 in the UFC, just 23 years old. He's from Monterrey, Mexico, but trains in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with the team Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn team over there. A very good team. He's got 7 of 13 wins by submission, 4 knockouts, coming off a first-round knockout win of Byron Bloodworth in December at UFC 155. Goyito is coming with a lot of hype here in the bantamweight division. Takeya Mizugaki is his opponent. 17 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws for Mizugaki. He is 6-5 WEC UFC combined record since 2009. He is on a 2-fight win streak, though, 29 years old. Usually 29 years old, you're not going to have such a huge, age difference between your opponent, but 6 years as Goyito, just 23 years of age. Mizugaki coming off a split decision win over Brian Caraway on March 3rd for the UFC in Japan. Mizugaki, 11 of 17 wins by decision, which could play in his favor as Goyito has lost 4 times, 3 by decision, 1 by submission. Mizugaki, not much of a submissions ace. He's only got 1 of 17 wins by tap out with, as I said, 11 decisions and 5 knockout victories. Perez is a submissions expert, 7 of his 13 by submission. I like Erik Perez in this fight. I think he will win. I think it's a tough test in Takeya Mizugaki, but I believe that Erik Perez is up for this challenge. I don't know if he'll be able to get the submission win over Mizugaki. Only Uriah Faber has been able to submit this guy. I think most likely it'll be a decision victory with Erik Perez on top.
I have also to go with Erik Perez. With that said, I'm a Mizugaki fan since he came in to fight Miguel Torres a long time ago.
Great fight, right?
Exactly. I remember he did a very good performance, and people didn't really give him credit back then for his performance. That's when Miguel Torres was pretty much the king of the division.
Mm-hmm.
And Mizugaki out of nowhere came out and made himself a name by being a very tough guy. I could see, unfortunately, Erik Perez submitting him because I think Mitsugaki's submission game might be somewhere where Perez could capitalize. But I feel confident with Perez, let's say that.
So we're both picking Erik Perez. Actually, Kevin picked Erik Perez as well. So all 3 of us. It's a clean sweep for Erik Perez over Takeya Mizugaki. How about this next fight on the card? Dylan Andrews, 16 wins, 4 losses, 1 no contest, takes on 9 wins, 2 losses. Papy Abedi. This one in the middleweight division. This one bizarre to me. Abedi is 1-2 in the UFC at welterweight and has decided to jump up in weight to 185. Usually guys, when they're struggling, they drop down in weight. This guy decided to jump up. He's 35 years old, born in Congo. He is from Sweden, though, lives and trains in Sweden, spent most of his life there. He's a judo black belt, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt. His opponent is 33 years old, 1-0 in the UFC thus far, is Australian with 11 of 16 wins by knockout. Abedi also has the majority of his wins by knockout, 5 of 9, but I have not been impressed by Papy Abedi in the UFC. The guy seems to gas out. His fight with Thiago Alves was not great. He lost to James Head by submission in 2012. Abedi's never been knocked out, but has lost twice by submission. I could see Andrews getting a submission victory over him, beating him up and then getting a rear naked choke on a tired Abedi. I don't know if he'll be able to knock the guy out, as Abedi's never been knocked out, but, I could see it playing out that way as well. I could see a decision. Either way, it's going to go down. I like Dylan Andrews over Papy Abedi. Andrews impressed me on The Ultimate Fighter. He beat Zach Cummings, knocked out Luke Barnett, who I thought was a tough guy there, before losing by knockout to Uriah Hall in the semifinals. I think Dylan Andrews is a tough guy. He's got a lot of heart, and he's got more heart and more cardio than Papy Abedi, and I think that's what's going to win him this fight.
Again, this is not the day where we're going to have a lot of different choices. I'm also going with Dylan Andrews. I didn't follow The Ultimate Fighter, so I don't know that much about him, but I agree with your point about Papy Abedi not being very oppressive, and the fact that he's going up in weight and all that doesn't sound like A plus B equals C doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's weird, right? When a guy moves up in weight after struggling at welterweight, it's just bizarre.
Probably had a hard time cutting the weight. Maybe
he looked like he did, because every fight I saw him in, he always looked like he tired out after the first round. He had no gas tank left. So maybe at middleweight he'll have a gas tank, but I don't know. Dylan Andrews is a really tough guy with a lot of heart, you know? He's a gamer. So you're going to pick Dylan Andrews for the win. I'm going to pick him as well, and Kevin picked him too. So another clean sweep. Look at us. We're all agreeing on these fight picks. How about the next fight? Brad Tavares, minus 400 the favorite, taking on plus 300 Bubba McDaniel, as this is the first fight on the main card, so we actually have the betting odds here for the main card. Tavares, 10 wins, 1 loss. Bubba McDaniel, 21-6. Tavares coming off a decision win over Ricky Fukuda, an impressive win there in Japan on March the 3rd, while McDaniel submitted Gilbert Smith, a 5-2 fighter, on April 13th at the Ultimate Fighter 17 finale. McDaniel was on that same season of Ultimate Fighter as Dylan Andrews was on. He lost to Kelvin Gastelum and Uriah Hall on the show with a win over Kevin Casey, as he lost to Kelvin Gastelum in the first round, and then he had to come back and replace somebody, and he beat Kevin Casey and then lost to Uriah Hall. So, but Bubba McDaniel on team John Jones. He trains with John Jones normally over with Greg Jackson in New Mexico. He's originally from Texas. McDaniel, 30 years old. His opponent, Brad Tavares, is from Hawaii. He's 25 years old. He's 5-1 in the UFC, while McDaniel is 1-0. Tavares, 4 knockout wins, 4 decisions, and 2 submissions, riding a 3-fight win streak into this one. Brad Tavares looks like a middleweight to watch. He looks like a guy that is improving every time he steps in there. And I think he's just got more heart, more skill, more power. I like him in every way over Bubba McDaniel. I don't see how Bubba McDaniel comes out of this fight without getting knocked out. I really think this guy's going to get finished here. He's lost 6 times, 4 by submission, 2 by knockout. I could see Tavares getting a knockout or a submission win. Either way, I believe he will finish Bubba McDaniel within that 15 minutes. He's a heavy favorite, as I said, minus 400. Bubba McDaniel plus 300, the dog. I'm going to go with Brad Tavares here in this middleweight contest.
Again, I got to follow you, and I don't like saying guarantee of the night, but this one looks like a pretty solid pick. Honestly, I think that the odds are even maybe a little bit off. Brad Tavares could be a bigger favorite than he is. Because,
really?
Well, I just don't think McDaniel is a very high-level UFC guy, unfortunately. A lot of heart, but I don't think Bubba McDaniel really is a future contender or anything.
No. I think he's going to be in trouble. I think he gets finished. It's Fred's lock of the night here. My lock of the night was Brandon Thatch. Fred's is going to be Brad Tavares. And all 3 of us, again, Kevin, I got his picks on Wednesday night. He picked Brad Tavares too. So a clean sweep once again.